I woke up and there was no water, but there's water. I get all of it from this little creek stream, so I have to reconnect the tubes. Yeah, we got water. Okay, so we woke up to Bitcoin having fallen off the charts today. One of the reasons, at least for this little blip in our time frame, seems to be that the CFTC has come out and charged Bitmex with being an illicit or an illegally run, I guess, derivatives or an exotic exchange, something that creates futures options, basically. So that's big news. It pumped the market to the downside. I'd exited most of my Binance trade, but what we're going to do is we're going to dive in. We're going to take a look at the charts. I just want to go over distribution a little bit today. So we're going to be taking a look at Binance on the smaller time frame, so I can help show you guys why I exited most of my position last night. And when I will be re-entering. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're still in their trading ranges. And as for fun, I just thought we would try out this new style of, we're going to dive into the markets here, and we're going to flip the screen so you can see I want to show you something that I thought was interesting. So last night at around 10 p.m. I started to close out a bunch of my position. We had around 27,000. The reason being, see, what's fun is these time frames, you're always giving you a different story depending on what happens next. So what we ended up seeing was this top test here. So these here, this became my, I'm going to have to delete some of this, I guess. Yes, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. So we haven't gone over this yet, but this is what our next PDFs will be. This is about distribution. So here you can see we hit this climactic top. This is often known as your UTAD test. So last night, when we couldn't get back above the box here, I closed out about half of my position here and here as well, actually. I did re-enter a bunch of it here, but I'm not fully back in yet. I'm just waiting for the tides to turn. Now, one of the things that happened is there's a big set of news. The FTC or CFTC came out against Bitmex, as we'd gone over in the beginning of this video. And what that means is, there's a big abstraction here, is the fact that they ran that company in Bermuda, so it's not technically under their jurisdiction, but they've been dealing with United States residents and citizens potentially. So they've been building a case since 2019 against Bitmex. I don't like how they name people like Arthur Hayes, the CEO, especially when there's all these bankers who do billions of dollars in money laundering and never get in trouble and never get named either, just because they work for Deutsche Bank instead. I don't really like how they are bullying the smaller system as well, being buddy-buddy with the other guys. It's like, oh, hey, if you already have a bank charter, well, we don't really care. Just as long as you already had it. It's kind of a predicament for people, right, to witness that you can see that they can get away with things that the average person couldn't. So because of this distribution, I let go about half of my position, and I did start rebuilding here. Now, and that was only on the 15-minute guys that we're looking at now. So now I'm looking at the 1 minute, just because I like to pay attention to where we are in these smaller time frames, because they give us some indicators. So I'm going to start using the 3 EMA and the bear claw, because some of you had asked what these things mean and how they work. So currently we have the 3 EMA and the bear claw. So I'll turn off the 3 EMA because you can't really see it all that well unless I turn this off. So this is the bear claw. It is a stacked set of exponential moving averages from 5 all the way to 90. And on the outside here, you have your 200 and 314 moving averages, or the simple moving averages. So these are very powerful when you're looking, can you get above resistance? So notice how on the 1 minute here, where I exited my position near the top here, we couldn't get and stay above these 200 moving averages, even on the minute chart. Like it couldn't do it. So in this last time, boom, 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 boom. So that's how you can see these types of downwards distributions start. First, we start by noticing them in the tops of the area chart. So I'll turn the bear claw off. So again, you had your BCLX, your AR, your ST, your UTAD test, your last point of supply weakness, another last point of supply weakness, and then boom, a big breakdown. So what we're going to look now to is probably to the top of the trading range and see if we form an accumulation. There are other ways to use this too. So with the 3 moving average, you can see we are hitting the 9 at the bottom here, the 21 here, and the 50. So these act as areas of support and resistance, and often you can see them line up with parts of the volume profile on the right hand side here as well. So on the quicker, more intraday trades, like last night when I was exiting my position, I am using all of these indicators. Now I will preface this one more time by saying that these bigger stories are much more reliable, and you can play them fairly patiently. Here with Binance, again, what I'm going to do is, here's where we entered in the test, sold most of the position on the SOS, re-entered on the LPS, and I'm around 50% in my position currently right now. So there's still room for downside. So I'm keeping a really close eye on it. Again, here on the daily, you can see that we are likely going to come down and test this area between the 9 and the 21. This is a very, very strong area. As a matter of fact, we did come down this low almost very quickly on a wick, but I try to remove the wicks because it's too much noise for me. We're probably going to build one final accumulation range here before a much bigger breakout in Binance. So I'm keeping an eye on this as we go because it's an intraday trade for me. Now, I wanted to go over very quickly Bitcoin's price because it's still in the trading range, guys. And so we'll turn these indicators back on. So we've been watching this one for quite some time. You know the big story, obviously, already. We are in an area of accumulation. Part of the question I think a lot of people want to know is, will we go lower? We've mentioned this a few times, but yes, there is a large possibility that we could come down as low as $6,000 if someone just wants to flood the market with supply. And that could happen. We don't know where all the Bitcoin are right now, or if they're all locked up. There's a lot of people with a lot of emotions that invested in Bitcoin early on. So we could still see this much lower range come in. In the long term, though, I don't believe that's what's going to happen. I do suspect that this sideways trading range actually turns into a new box of accumulation, and then we do get this SOS out first. Until we get that SOS, though, I'm not convinced we're in a bull market for Bitcoin, but we are in a bull market for Ethereum. So I'm just going to use these as quick market leaders and indicators. What's really interesting to me here, we'll look at the full story: primary support, selling climax, automatic rally, your secondary test, or supply test, your spring, your test, your LPS, and your SOS. Boom, this was the nice part. Here's the confirmation. We are in a bull market for Ethereum. It's just about the patience because we haven't had that explosion yet, and that's what most people are excited about. Those big money explosions. But I will point out, guys, if you manage to get in the middle of March during the pandemic to the top, that's a 253% run for Ethereum. That's pretty big in my books. So I do suspect there are room for downside as low as $240 approximately, which would test the top of the trading range. And this is quite common that we see these SOSs come up and come back down, maybe even as low as that volume support. But the regression line is usually pretty strong. So we're keeping an eye on that. And we've hit, as you can see too, we tried to break up above, couldn't come back, hit this, broke above, and we're closing above now on Ethereum. I do suspect what we're going to see is a final push for a resistance test before we create basically the jump across the creek here, and then a much bigger move outwards. So that puts us out close to February. One of the things people have a hard time doing as traders is really understanding the time that it takes to make and build a good position and the time that it takes to make and build a good play. Because if we're talking about at least 120 days out in the future, what are you going to do for this sideways action? Right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I think it's a great question to ask ourselves is, how do we spend that time building our portfolio? Because when you know that you can include investing and trading into the rest of your life alongside all the other things that you do for value and bringing productivity to your community. Because you got to work, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. That's the way it goes. Even if you make enough money, you're still going to end up working. I have friends that have made hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what they still do? Work. Because they like what they do. So if you think you're going to retire and not work, you don't know clue about what you're talking about. You're just going to find something else, hopefully, that you like doing. So I'm actually, matter of fact, I suggest trying to find what you like to do first, so that way you never would retire. You just keep doing what you love. A side moment there. I love trading and investing. I've been quite excited about this space in general. We see a declining volume supply on Ethereum down here at the bottom, and decreased volatility. This is a nice important area for us. As soon as we start to see this volume bar increase, this is going to be a key indicator that we are entering that bull market more effectively inside of Ethereum. So just keep it close and light, guys. I just wanted to make another video again. I'm kind of getting in the mixture of like, how do I mix like my daily vlog life and trading all into one, and keep it succinct and as valuable as possible. You know, when we're learning to trade and educate, I think again, so many people get caught up in the hype, like, oh my God, blah, 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 just market stuff. Guys, calm down. Trust me, if you've been playing here for a while, you'll know that we've got time to be patient to go fix the water tank. You don't have to stare at the screen every day. You can build a position and you can wait. And that's the most effective way to play. So we'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, I'm really grateful for this opportunity. You know, some of you guys do ask me to do more like kind of around the house shots. Like, you know, over here I keep all of my instruments. You know, I've got an oud, another oud, and the guitar that's over here is actually sitting over there right now. So I'm going to try to save, again, just the weekends, like Saturday and Sunday, for the more kind of vlogish like days. But I do want to find a way to, again, meld these two styles together, because I do like charting and I do trade every day. I sit at my desk over there and I work on stuff for you guys, and I want to make sure that I can remain creative and have something fun, and as long as the content stays high quality. So again, I love your guys' constructive feedback and your criticisms for what this stuff looks like. I really appreciate it. This is Tea with the Arcane Bear. Oh wait, hold on. You wanted this? Boom! We're live, ladies and gentlemen.